Hello there, welcome back to Simon's Shed. And as you'll have seen last week, we've been concentrating on getting things running smoothly, getting the points working and the track all cleaned off. And of course that led me on to think about actually running some trains and different kinds of trains, the rolling stock that I've got at the moment and what I could run in the future. And well, let's take a look at the layout and we'll talk about what kinds of stock I can plausibly run and what I should get next. So really, it's quite simple. There's two things. I can run two types of stock, preserved and modern. This is the Severn Valley station, that's Arley, and obviously that will run preserved trains, so old steam and old diesel. And almost all passenger trains. There will be the odd freight, sort of old freight train that can run here, but yeah, mostly preserved passenger trains. And then as we come down at the back, we've got the two main lines which run down into Kidderminster, so that gives us our modern side of the layout, and that's the sort of contrast between the countryside at the other side and the more gritty urban side down here. And again, we've got passenger possibilities for modern passenger and modern freight. So what can we run at the moment? Let's take a look at what we've got. So I've sort of pretty haphazardly built up a small collection of locos. Not got that many, but as you can probably see at a quick glance, it's heavily biased towards the preserved locos. So quick whiz through. We've obviously got our, this is a Mark 1 rake of maroon coaches, which will be the passenger coaches on the Severn Valley. I'd like to get a teak rake of coaches as well, but that's not the point of this video. So we got this, which this LMR blue train could plausibly run on the Severn Valley loop. I certainly would allow it anyway. Now this 57, that could actually go on the main line and pull a rail tour, couldn't it? Or it could also appear on the Severn Valley line. LMS, is this a Mickey Mouse? Obviously Severn Valley line. Castle class, perfect for the Severn Valley. B1, again preserved. 08 diesel in a preserved livery. So this is still around, isn't it? I think it's at the museum in York. I mean, I'd quite happily run it anywhere, but it's not really realistic to see it at either, I guess. We got Tornado. Again, that could pull a rail tour on the main line, but again, it's sort of preserved but modern in that it's actually fairly recently built. This is preserved right down to the being the correct number of the preserved one, the class 24 in BR blue, and there's an 08 at the end. Now the 08 on the Severn Valley is green with speed whiskers, but yeah, you wouldn't really see that on the main line, would you? So again, preserved, and yeah, that's about it, apart from this. So this is really the only modern loco that I've got, and yes, I know it's missing a buffer. I forgot to fit I bought some new ones, but I forgot to fit them. We'll get around to that maybe in another video where I sort of go through each loco properly and do a sort of meet the fleet, and all the DCC chips need sort of adjusting and to get the sort of acceleration curves right, and buffers need refitting and things like that. Some of them might need a service as well because it's been a while, but yeah, might do a series on that. But for now, as I say, this 68 in DRS is the only sort of modern loco we've got. So I did have a brief look at modern passenger trains, or modern-ish, and I couldn't find that much. There's this, but unfortunately it looks like it's not even DCC ready, let alone sort of DCC sound or anything like that. So I think I'm going to leave the passenger side for now, because I think that's going to be really difficult. And as you can see from the title of the video, let's come up with some ideas for a freight train. But the only other passenger idea comes from the DRS again, the Class 68, pulling these sort of silver Chiltern coaches. But yeah, really fancy a long freight train. When I built the layout, one of the main things I wanted was a nice long run where you could have a nice long rake of sort of dirty freight wagons and see the whole thing running down. So initially I was quite determined to, it's got to be exactly like a train that goes through Kidderminster, and it's got to be completely accurate, and started looking and then realised how much of a headache that would actually be. We've got here a lot of steel coil trains, I believe, go through Kidderminster, or certainly did in the recent past. So we've got a Class 66 EWS livery, and we've got these kind of telescopic wagons. There's Class 66s, this is great because they're very, very available. There's many different versions from both Dapol and Graham Farish, so that's good. The problem, I think, is the wagons. So I believe these, possibly called BYA wagons, are available. They seem to be very expensive. And as I say, I want a nice long train. Can't really find those. But yeah, the sort of rounded telescopic ones, I found that Farish do those. But yeah, when I started adding it all up, I kind of went off that idea, maybe put that on the back burner. So my next thought, my next search on YouTube was, well, it doesn't matter if it you know, didn't go through Kidderminster yesterday, that's fine, let's widen the net a bit. Already got one of those, so that's good. The Class 68. This will hopefully make it a bit cheaper to put a train together, and it's in the same livery that I've got, and it's pulling. I mean, there's two of them, but you know, I guess I could buy another 68. It's pulling containers, which are the sort of Stobart ones, I believe. A slight diversion. I think this is that. Yeah, this is the Farish steel coil wagon. As you can see, it looks like a beautiful thing. It's very detailed, and it's actually not crazy expensive. Having said that, that's a starting bid on eBay, so who knows what it'll actually end up going for. But I think it's more the availability of these that's going to be the difficult one. It might be a longer term project to collect those, but yeah, I might stick in a cheeky bid on that one. But anyway, back to and you can see what I've been looking at. different containers, and these are the Hunt Elite couplings. I might really need to standardise my couplings. But yeah, I want you to go into that one. So Dapol do N-scale mega fret wagons, which I believe are the ones that, or certainly very similar to the ones we just saw on that video. They're very bright blue, which I presume is how they start out life. So we're going to need a lot of weathering, and also they don't include the containers. But yeah, 35 quid for 2. It's not beyond the realms of possibility that we could build up a reasonably long rake of those. Now, my only worry with these, I think I'm going to have to buy a couple and just try them, because as you can see from this very helpful video from the Heritage line, where he sort of runs them through some curves and has to make modifications to get them to stay on the track. They are incredibly light as well, so a little bit worried about how well they'll run and how well they'll stay on the track. But as I say, I think I'll probably worth trying a couple, and then if they're okay, maybe go for it. But definitely wanted to post about it on here first, to say if anyone's got any experience of these, are they worth it? Is there any alternatives? And yeah, we'll see where we end up. Who spotted the deliberate mistake from earlier? That's right, it's Broome Manor. It's not a castle class at all, and it's also not coupled up. You see, this is what I mean about standardising couplings. Why doesn't that couple up to that magnet? Right, let's try again. Okay, first of all, there was no magnet in the end of the coupling, so that was never going to work. Second of all, I'm talking about doing a meet the fleet and sort of servicing my locos. That's not good. It's now, I can hear it whirring, but it's not going anywhere. So, I guess DRS to the rescue. Since we're talking about freight trains, I thought it'd be funny to get the 68 to pull the only long-ish freight train that I can muster at the moment. I'm going to moan about couplings again because none of these have NEM pockets, and they're all Rapido type couplings. So yeah, I've had to change the coupling on the end of the loco again, and then these seem to be pointing up at the sky, so, and this seems to be quite low. So I'm hoping with these fruit wagons it's a bit lower, but I'm going to do it by hand. I can't do it while I'm holding the camera. Let's do it the other way. Yes, that would be more sensible. Push the wagons towards the loco. Right. No, I didn't want to go that way. 17th time lucky, here we go. Oh, and I've put both of the buffers on the front, so that at least from that angle it looks like it's all intact. So very steadily. I don't think that's working, is it? Need some weight in those, I think. Let's give it a go. A fruit wagon's just dropped out of there, from underneath there. Oh dear. I can still hear the train moving, so yeah, I'm not sure what's happened there. The troublesome trucks are back. They've been retrieved from underneath the layout, and I'm just going to run them on this straight piece of track. Nothing can go wrong surely now. So yes, I had another look at those telescopic Farish wagons, the steel carriers, and yeah, the ones that are actually sort of buy it now are pretty much 50 quid each. So, you know, 10 is 500, 20 is a grand, which is an expensive train. So the Dapol ones, the container wagons, if anyone's got any experience of those, they're a bit cheaper. Let me know. Although you do have to buy the containers. It doesn't come with the containers. Or have I missed something completely? What would you do if it was your layout and you had to build put together a modern freight train, a nice long freight train? What have I missed, basically? But I will continue searching for ideas and scouring eBay. But that's about it for now, so thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.